In this quick tip, we're going to see how to automatically add secondary events to the primary events in a schedule using the Gallium workflow orchestration system from Pixel Power. We're looking here at a single channel being played out, and this single channel only has primary events. We can see that as there are no items in the column rows along here associated with the primary events. It's quite common that a broadcaster would want to add, for example, a logo just to the program primary events and not to the breaks. I can do that manually by selecting a primary event, right-clicking on that and insert event as a child, and from that I could insert a logo, for example. I could pick that logo, it's a Core 1 HD, and then from the properties I can set the duration of that, where it's anchored, the transition, and so on. An alternative way of doing this is to use the timeline. So I'm going to insert a timeline as a child because I've already set up a timeline for that Core 1 HD logo. Inserting that will give me all of the correct properties that I want for that. That it is slightly shorter than the program event. It has a transition, a fade cut and a cut fade transition at medium speed. I could of course quickly insert all of those using the keyboard shortcuts, but there's an even better way of doing that, which is to set that up in the Gallium settings, the processor settings. You can add that for all of the program events. So going into the Gallium settings, I need to look at processor settings, and then I'm looking at the processor group for the Core 1 channel. The top item here is the one that I'm going to use. So this is called Core 1 logo, and what it's going to do is it is going to apply this filter expression looking to see if the primary event is a program event, and if that is true it will then run this default timeline Core 1 HD logo. At the moment it's doing that on all live events, and so if I enable that, this will then search through the current schedule, the live schedule, and for each program event, if it is a primary program event, it will insert this timeline which will add the HD logo. So if we go back and have a look at the single channel, we can now see each of these logos have appeared. Something else that we might like to do is to add a voiceover, and again we have one prepared here already. So this will do a now and this one a next voiceover. So this voiceover looks to see if there is an event called Core Next VO, and if there is, it will select a particular piece of audio, a WAV file, that is based on this expression. So to have this operate, we need to have a dummy event on the schedule that is called Core Next VO. There is no media item called Core Next VO, but it just needs to have that as its title. So if I return to the channel and I insert as a child event an audio only, it doesn't matter what I choose for that event here, because what I'm going to do is to call this Core Next VO. So we can see that audio event here, and you can see that it has picked up the next event, which is this 2012 Australian Open Surfing, and the audio for that is this audio file Core 2012 Australian Open Surfing _next. There are a number of different automated processes that we can run, and these are selected from this Add drop down. We've just looked at the audio over selector and the automatic scheduler, but there's quite a number down here which will automatically do various different things. For the ones that we looked at, they can operate on the live schedule and or the offline schedule. So operating on the offline schedule means that once a schedule is dropped into a watch folder, for example, the processor will operate on that offline schedule, adding each of the events that we want adding and changing the files, the audio files that we've seen, so that when that schedule is appended to the current schedule, it will have those already. So this is how to add secondary events to primary events using the processors in Gallium workflow automation.